Good morning. So I almost forgot. I had some stuff on my mind that I wanted to talk about. You know how we do over here. I'm tired of this cardigan. It's my favorite cardigan. Yes, I know that it is linty and might be a little ratty looking or whatever, but it's my favorite cardigan and it's so warm. And maybe I should have got it in a different color because black is really not the color, and it really just collects all this lint and crap. But whatever, it's my favorite one, and not like I'm wearing it to the club or anything like club. I don't even go to the damn club. Whatever. It's my favorite cardigan. We all know what that's like, so whatever. Anyway, on my way to dropping off Riley, and I, just wanted to talk about something that has, been on my mind for a while, but I just haven't really spoken about it. I haven't, posted a video or anything about it. But today is the day. Because once again, one day I will share my narcissistic abuse story, but today ain't that day. And there's one specific one that was the doozy, but I've been dealing with narcissists all my life. I'm an empath, and apparently they're attracted to us. That's pretty much our assignment. Well, for those of us that are fortunate enough to make it to super empath status, to bring these narcissists down, which I am blessed enough to say that I'm on that path if I haven't done it already. Hold on. Yeah, so I had to bring the munchkin in the front seat. Getting back to what I wanted to talk about. So it's no secret. Can you please turn that down? All the way down. All the way down. I can still hear it. Alright, it's going to be dead any minute. So, so I have 3 children. A son who's 20 and 2 daughters that are 13, and this 6-year-old here, well, almost 13. Next month she'll be 13, and then my 6-year-old here. And like I said, I've always said this, and I will say it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed either. That yes, all of my children have different fathers. It is what it is, and this is not to try to downgrade anybody else that's in the situation, but my kids are all 5+ years apart, so it's not like I was just hopping from one to the next. I wasn't. And I did have relationships. This is awkward. Okay, I did have relationships in between where obviously I didn't have kids with them, but whatever. Here, you want some lip gloss? No. But yeah, so all of my kids have different fathers, and they all are narcissists in their own right. The first one, he had narcissistic tendencies. He was abusive in multiple different ways towards me and all his other kids' mothers. And what's another thing that's crazy is that all of my kids' fathers have 5 kids in total. They all have 5 kids in total, which is weird. And they all have 5 kids in total with 5 different mothers. It's weird. But 5 is my life path, and 5 has a different meaning, has a lot of different meanings in my life, so I'm not really surprised. But my son's father was abusive in multiple different ways to all of his kids' mothers. He wasn't physically abusive towards me, but I don't really paint myself as being lucky or special because he was abusive in other ways towards me, so whatever. Then there were my second child's father. He is narcissistic in the sense of this whole victim mindset, like he never wants to be seen as the bad guy, so anytime he's faced with some sort of conflict, he comes off like he's a victim, like, oh well, poor me, and I'm just a nice guy, I'm just trying to do the best. And and I also believe he is a colorist. He's dark-skinned man, but he's definitely a colorist. And then there's the last one, who definitely is undiagnosed, narcissistic, sociopathic individual. I'm going to say demonic individual. But one thing that rings true, I'm going to say with both my daughters, because when I had my son, he was my first child. You know, he has autism. So that was completely new to me as well. It was just a different kind of situation. It was a new situation. And also, like, with, you know, with him being my first child and me still being young and naive and not really being aware of who I am and aware of my past and everything, you know, I still had a lot of things to work through. I was 23, you know, nobody knows themselves at the age of 23. So, you know, I still hadn't even started my road to self-discovery or any kind of self-reflection or anything like that. So, a lot of things that he did, I let slide. You know, my son was diagnosed at the age of 2.5 with autism. His father really was never a father to him, really. Like, he denied him and said he wasn't even his for the first couple of months until I pretty much cornered him into taking a blood test, and then he found out that he was his, and he still really didn't do very much after that. I know now it was because, like, after I had my son, I got my life back on track. I started to go back to school. I started to, you know, go after my goals again. And of course that intimidated him, because I guess he thought that I was just going to be one of his baby mamas. He was going to be, you know, I don't know. I guess he thought that I was just going to be a loser. And because you know how men, they want to seem like they're the leader. They don't want women to be independent. They want the women to be independent, dependent on them, you know. And that just wasn't the case. You know, once I had my child, I'm just like, nah, I got to get my shit back together, because I ain't about to be sitting here no bum and I got a child to take care of. I guess he was used to bums. He wanted somebody to be dependent upon him, and he seen that wasn't happening with me. So, you know, he decided he was not gonna be the father that my son needed. But that's pretty much baby daddies, period. Like, you know, they interact the best with the children whose mothers still, quote unquote, need them. If you don't need them, if you're not begging them and pestering them and chasing them down, then they really are not going to want very much to do with your kids. So that's pretty much what it was. Like, he had other kids, and, you know, their mothers were always begging him for money. They made him feel important. They made him feel needed, whereas I did not, because I didn't need him. Like, I don't understand that mentality. Like, you know, you would think that it would be the other way around. Well, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be the other way or either way, because your children have nothing to do with the mother. You know, you being a parent to your children have nothing to do with the relationship that you have with the mother, you know. But yeah, like, you know, my son was diagnosed with autism he was almost 3, and his father really never stepped up to be a father. However, I still was involved with him, you know, in multiple aspects until my son was 7, where, you know, he did something horrible to both me and my son. So that was when I cut it off, when I should have cut it off long before that, especially, you know, once my son was diagnosed with autism and, you know, he made a comment that was completely out of line and did not step up to be the father that my son really needed, and continued to ignore him as if he wasn't even there. Not only him, but his family. I should have cut it off then, but like I said, I was very young. I didn't really know myself. I didn't know my worth. You know, I would just, you know, I was young, period. But you know, after I did cut it off, you know, he pretty much left me alone, which is really what I wanted anyway. You know, if you're not gonna do what you need to do as a father, then you could just leave me alone, act as if we don't exist, which is what he did. You know, if that was the best he could do, fine, great, thanks. You know, my son is 20 years old now. The last time he even been in the same, well, Riley, you knew he was gonna die. Last time he's ever even been under the same roof with my son was when he was 7. It's whatever, you know. My son doesn't really know him, doesn't ask about him, couldn't recognize him in a lineup, so it's whatever. But I do recall certain times when he still was in my son's life, and this is where, you know, I'm getting to my point. I do recall certain times in his life, you know, he would have this, he would say things like, you're being disrespectful, or you need to respect me. And my older daughter's father, he never said that to me straight out. No, he's like I said, he's like a victim, and I think he's kind of like scared or nervous of me or whatever, because he knows I will go off. I will go in on him. Like, I mean, they all know that I'm just not one to play with when it comes to my kids. But, you know, he has made comments to our daughter about how hold on one second. I'm shadowing somebody today, and it's freaking annoying. But yeah, he would make comments to our daughter about how does it make her feel that, you know, her mom, quote unquote, doesn't like him. And, you know, he wouldn't get the answers he was looking for, because she would just be like, okay, I don't care, whatever, because that has nothing to do with her. You know, he would try to come off and try to make himself out to be, you know, the sad victim, and your mommy's mean to me, whatever. So, you know, my son's father, you're disrespectful, you don't respect me. My older daughter's father is, well, you're mean to me. And then my youngest child's father, who takes the freaking cake, regularly says I'm disrespectful to him. And I find this to be comical, because number one, I'm not disrespectful. I'm not a disrespectful type of person until you push me to that point. And I very rarely let anybody push me to that point. But it takes a lot to push me to that point. You know, I'm a Scorpio, regardless of what people might say. It does take a lot for a Scorpio to be disrespectful to you, or to, you know, cuss you out or go in on you. It takes a lot. Like, we take a lot, and, you know, then we go in. But it's just like, I'm not just the type of person to fly off the handle to become disrespectful. What he means is that I don't acknowledge him. What they both meant, like my oldest child and my youngest child, I think probably like all three of them, what they really mean is that I don't validate them as being great dads. I don't acknowledge them as being, you know, my child's father, or I don't exalt them for doing the bare minimum. No, I sure don't. So if you want to call that disrespect, then, you know, go right on ahead. Because no, I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm not going to acknowledge you. I'm not going to validate you. I'm not going to exalt you. I'm not going to chase after you and, you know, brag about you and who you are. I'm not going to do any of those things. So if you want to, like I said, if you want to call that disrespect, then you go right on ahead. And it's not really anything personal, you know. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't play a part in having children with these men. Obviously I did. But see, my thing is this, and this is where a lot of women screw it up for, this is where a lot of females screw it up for women and mothers like me. Like, I'm not your baby mama. I'm the mother of your child. I'm not your baby mama. I'm not anybody's baby mama. And there's a difference. Baby mamas validate, acknowledge, exalt, respect. That's what baby mamas do. Mothers of your children treat you according to how you treat the child. And I know that there are many women out here that can agree and disagree, whatever. But I'm speaking for myself. No, my bad. I'm going to treat you according to how you treat my child. And I'm going to say my child because they're my children. You know, I'm very well aware that it takes two people, a man and a woman, to have a child. But I'm just not going to sit there and keep saying our child. And I'm not going to do that, because we are the ones raising the children. I am the one raising them. So I'm going to say my child. It just, you know, it just comes, it flows out of my mouth like that, and just how it is, you know. I wouldn't have an issue with, you know, them referring to the child as their child, because they are. So whatever. But I'm going to treat you according to how you treat my child. If you are hands-on, prioritizing, sacrificing, you know, loving, invested father, then you will get the respect that you want, the acknowledgement, the exaltment. You will get all that from me. But if you think that, you know, paying a little bit of child support, giving a couple dollars here and there, you know, maybe acknowledging the child during a holiday here and there, you know, taking a picture and posting it on your social media, if you think that is worth my respect, you got a whole nother damn thing coming. No. See, as a parent that knows what it takes to parent children, you're just not going to just show respect or admiration to just anybody because they put in maybe 10% of effort. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to treat you according to how you treat my child, period. So, when I see that you're investing, when I see that you're really dedicated to the best interest of the child, then I will respect you according to your standards, I guess. And, to be honest, I probably won't even do it to your standards because I'm not going to exalt somebody for doing what they're supposed to do. However, I will acknowledge you to the point where you could think that we're friends, because even with my older daughter's father, we were friends for a while. I consider him a friend of mine because he was investing in our daughter. He was showing up. He was, participating in her birthday. He was participating in her education. He was getting her on a regular. He was taking her around his family. She really felt like she was loved by her father. So at that point in time, we were friends. We consider each other friends. He would, come over to my house and hang out to see her and everything like that. But once that changed, we're not friends anymore. No. You think I'm going to be friends with somebody, or I'm going to be cool with somebody that treats my child as if they're an option, or, just something to do every now and then? Absolutely not. I can turn it off and on, because at the end of the day, the only reason why you're acknowledged at all by me is because of my child. So if you think that I'm going to acknowledge you while you diss my child or treat my child as if they're less than nothing, but I'm still going to be besties with you? Absolutely not. If it wasn't for this child, you would not even exist. Really? What was the point of doing that? I thought you were going to move up. All right, that was awesome. So yeah, and that's where, a lot of these baby mamas mess up for women that, have children with men and just want to be mothers or, parents. Because a lot of these females out here, they have babies with men for the accolades or for the clout or for just to be acknowledged as his baby mama. I can care less about who the dude is. I don't, and I mean that to say, I'm not gonna say I'm just gonna have a baby with anybody. I mean that to say, if I'm in a relationship with you and you have this popularity, I can care less about that. If we have a child together, your popularity is not going to mean anything to me. I don't care about that, and I definitely don't care about it after I have your child. After I have your child, who you are means absolutely nothing. Because to be honest, at that point, if you're not raising my child to the best of your ability, dude, you could be Jay-Z. I wouldn't give a rat's ass. People's reputation and being known and their popularity is not going to raise a well-rounded child. It's just not. And a lot of these chicks out here, they go and have babies because they want to be acknowledged, or they want to be validated, or they want to be quote unquote respected by the community, because they have a child with this person. I don't care about the community. At this point, all I care about is my child. I mean, quiet is kept, and it sounds harsh, but at this point, I don't even care about you. And I mean, of course, and it might even sound harsh, but at this point, I don't even care about me. I care about this child. You can go to hell. My social life or whatever life I have, I already know that that's going to be on the back burner for a couple of years until the child is, probably 5 or 6 years old, where, Riley is right now. And that's just what it is. So like I said, once I have your child, my focus is the child. You can go to hell. My social life, my career can also go to hell until the child is at a place where they are old enough to be somewhat independent, where they're not as dependent upon their parent and they don't need me as much. You know what I mean? I'm going to get back to my life, but for the first couple of years of my child's life, my life has to be on the back burner, and that's what it is. And if my life has to be on the back burner, your whole existence is not even going to be there. You don't even exist to me unless you're doing what needs to be done for the sake of my child. And that's where the whole disrespect comes into play. Oh, well, you don't respect me, you are disrespectful because I don't acknowledge you, because I don't exalt you, because I don't validate you. My dude, I barely even acknowledge myself. I barely even validate myself. I barely even do any of these things for myself because I'm too busy doing it for my child. That's why, when real mothers have children, you don't see them with their hair done all the time, or they don't always look their best because they're giving all their energy to that child. But you all have the audacity or the nerve to expect some sort of respect or validation from the mother of the child when she doesn't even give it to herself because she's giving it all to the child. And that ain't gonna fly with me. So, if you want to feel like you're disrespected because my energy is going to my child and it's not going to you, then you can go ahead and feel however you want to feel. That's just what it's gonna be. And that's why I say, like, a lot of these dudes, like, they think that they're trapping women like me. I'm just gonna say me. They think that, because I know for a fact, like, both of my daughter's fathers, they both thought they were gonna trap me with a daughter or with a child, period. Like, my son's father, not so much, but my two daughters' fathers, oh yeah, they definitely thought they were gonna quote unquote trap me to be the eternal baby mama that they can run back and forth with. They thought they were gonna do that. But see, you might have solidified your place in my life. You might think that's a trap, and let's, for the sake of the word, let's just go ahead and use that you trapped me. Well, guess what? I trapped you too. So just like I can't go away from you and I'm going to always be a part of your life, you're going to always be a part of my life. But they think that they're trapping you and everything, to always be, once you're my baby mama. Because especially my older daughter's father, like, he would always, oh, this my baby mama. He would call me, ask me, can you wash my hair? What you could, all that crap. Like I said, like, you think you're just finna be able to just come in and out whenever you want. Okay, you can think whatever you want, but see, that it's really the complete opposite with me. Like, if you want me to continue to treat you sweet and treat you nice and cook for you and wash your hair and do all those nice things for you, do not get me pregnant. It sounds crazy, but whatever. I don't really know how to say it, but like, the worst thing you can do for your own agenda, you have this agenda of keeping me nice and sweet and docile to you, the worst thing you can do is have a baby with me. Because once I have a baby, playtime is over with, games are over with, nice and sweet is over with. That's over with. That is, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do for your child. And let's just be honest, like, I'm a black woman, I'm not married to none of these guys. I'm not interested in being married to these guys. All of my kids' fathers are black, and that's another situation. I didn't make the best choices. It is what it is. Get a mask, honey. But I got a bunch of baby daddies. So, when I have kids with these guys, that's too big. They think that they're gonna, keep that same sweet, nice, kind, available person that they met. No, game time is over with. We have a child to raise now. So if you want to slack off and play games and not do what you're supposed to do, then you're going to get the damn drill sergeant. You're going to get the person that's not nice to you at all. You're going to get the person that does not take any crap, does not play any games. That's what you're going to get. Because I don't play games with my children's life. I didn't think I was playing games with my life, but obviously, I did. So yeah, Riley's going to stand outside with her friend. Oh, goodness. I need to go ahead and pull off, but it's kind of hard. Anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, like, I'm I guess backwards or, different than other baby mamas. Because like I said, other baby mamas that I've heard of, that I've even experienced, whatever, it's like once you have the child, then they really become accommodating to you. They really, turn on the niceness and the sweetness to keep you around. No, I'm the complete opposite. That's exactly, like, pretty much during my pregnancy is, when I decide how things are going to go, because life doesn't begin at birth. Life begins before that. And, a woman needs support in her pregnancy before she has the child. So, depending on how you treat me during the pregnancy, and that has a little bit of say on how, things will go, because my pumpkin, have a good day. It's so hard. That's what I'm saying. Like, being a mom is not easy. It's not all financial. That's pretty much that's the easy part, to be honest. But yeah, like, nobody's saying that you have to wait on me hand and foot. We're not married. We don't live together. Well, my youngest child's father and I did. But like I said, that's a totally different story. So. Just depending on, it has a little bit to do with it, but depending on how much support you show me during the pregnancy, that can somewhat affect our relationship. But like I said, like, once I have the child and you show me what kind of parent you're going to be from day one, even from the day I come home from the hospital with the baby, because that's when the baby starts to need support. That's when we both need support. That'll let me know how our relationship is going to be. Like, I'm not gonna sit there, oh, I'm home with your baby, and now all of a sudden, now I'm your wife, now I'm gonna be waiting on you hand and foot because I have this. No, it's gonna be the complete opposite. All of my energy, all of my time, everything that I have to give is going to that baby. It's not gonna go to you, because I have to give everything to the child, and supporting me would replenish some of the energy that I have to give to the child. And if you're not supporting me by helping me with the child, then why the hell should I support you? Why should I respect you? Why should I validate you? Why should I even acknowledge you as being anything other than another nuisance? Like, why? I don't understand that. And the expectation for that to be true is ridiculous to me.